Welcome to Karibu Anawim's program, 15 Minutes at Dr. Zayli's Desk, where we explore topics related to living with a facial disfigurement. This program is for you, your loved ones, for educational purposes and professionals who would like to know more about living with facial disfigurement. Our presenters have lived experience, research background, or work with people living with facial disfigurement. It's important to begin the conversation with terminology that society understands and is clear. We use the word disfigurement as it is the medical and legal terminology. We recognise you may identify with other words such as visible difference or with your own diagnosis. Let's see where the conversation goes. So pull up a seat, grab a cuppa, and let's chat around the table with Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zayli's Desk.
G'day, and I'm your host, Dr. Zayli. Whoop, there you go. I'm just playing around, and today our question and answer time. Hang on, I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping at this moment in time, just putting everything up and everything. So the last Friday of each month, we look at your questions and whether or not you've got any questions and we'd like to answer them, or if you'd like to pop on live and have a chat, that's where we do it. This month, the month of March, we have looked at individuals living with facial disfigurement, and we have touched on topics such as bullying. We have touched on other topics such as parenting, love life, and careers and jobs and potential careers. Well, thank you very much for giving us some of your questions. There was a lot of them, so hopefully we'll be able to get through a few of them today. I am not at all. I'm not at all the expert in any of this, but we'll have a go anyway. The first question is, I live with a facial difference and I'm thinking of having a child with my partner, but I'm scared. What should I do? Well, first of all, adults have got, you've got your own life to live, and you've got your own decisions to make. But I'd like to bring that in to if you've got a craniofacial syndrome and you're thinking of having a child, then some potential advice and access to a genetic counselling might be a good idea. If you're scared of passing, whether or not you've got the gene and whether or not you can pass it on, or what that will mean. I am not an expert in that field. I would love to have an expert in that field come on, just putting it out there for people who might know of someone who's done a really good job and have helped them through their diagnosis and being able to help them with genetic counselling. Being scared is a natural thing to have, being scared to have a child is quite natural, especially when we live with a facial disfigurement, regardless of whether or not it's congenital or born with, or even acquired like mine was. I'd like to remind you that you have the skills. If you were born with this craniofacial syndrome, or if you have had your facial disfigurement for a very long time, then you have got the skills and you have got the know-how to be able to help your child navigate this way through the world, even if you do choose to have a child. And having children is a personal choice. So I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't have a child. I'm saying that sometimes it's good to get some genetic counselling if you'd like to go down that path and if that's available to you. Otherwise, you're not alone. 75 or over 75% of people who are, I'm quoting some research now, who said they were either going to be parents or wanting to be parents. Even 75% of them said that their facial disfigurement had a major impact on whether or not they chose to have a child or not. So that's 3 out of 4 of us that think about these things. However, having a child is a personal choice and they bring so much joy. Last night I was in the middle of a presentation and oh dear, and my child came through and said, oh dear, I'm not feeling well, and so I had to wind that up very quickly. So a child is a joy, can be really stressful. The grey hair, I get to have grey hair, and it's not because of my child's choice or my choice to have children. Oh dear. So shall we go to the next question? Thank you very much for people who are looking and listening. If you've got any comments, I can actually go and see your comments. So please, if you've got some comments, that would be great. And I've lost my little thing. The next question. I'm applying for so many jobs and getting interviews, but I'm not successful. I feel like rubbish, not sure if I should give up and quit trying to find work. This is also a big problem. Yeah, you're not alone. I went for over 100 jobs as a teacher, and over that 100 jobs applicant, I tried really, really hard writing to key selection criteria and all that sort of stuff. And out of 100 plus job applications, I got 4 interviews. And 3, I eventually got a job, but the way that I got that job was my strategy was that I spoke to the elephant in the room. I was confident in my thing, and just told them my story of living with a facial disfigurement, and then I broached, because there was key selection criteria that I had to ask and answer to. So I went and I thought, well, what would a principal, for example, want me to be, and how would they like me to, what are they looking for? And I thought that they would be looking for leadership skills. So I was leading by example by sharing and being able to disclose with confidence, my ability to speak about the elephant in the room, which is, of course, my eye. And so that was my idea for sharing and showing, well, one of the examples for leadership skills that I have. And so maybe that's just maybe that's a strategy for you too. Maybe that's a strategy, so therefore you practice in the mirror and you feel comfortable. You're feeling comfortable in doing the talking and the exposing the truth about your beautiful face to put others at ease. So therefore they can actually then start to listen to what you've actually got and what skills you actually have. And I got the job. I got the job when I applied that principle. Don't quit. Acknowledge that it is harder. I think evidence says that it's 5 times harder for us living with a facial disfigurement to gain employment. What's the next question? Oh, the question is, I'm lonely and all my friends have partners and I don't. And the guys that I meet basically say, you're great, pity about your face. What do I do? Whew. These are really tough questions, guys. Has anyone got any ideas themselves? Place your comments in the chat box below so we can have a chat. I don't have all the answers. I've got some. I've got ideas. It's tough. And people say, oh, the nice polite thing is, oh, it's their problem, the guys or the girls who reject you, that's their problem. And they're right. But still they're not acknowledging your part of the story, are they? So you need to coach your friends to be able to say, yeah, that sucks. Or how do you feel? To be able to validate your feelings, because putting it onto the other person, and yes, it is the other person's fault, but then you still feel like you would have liked to have got to know that person, and they're saying, oh, bugger off. We don't want to have anything to do with you. Look at your face. That's a turn off, or that's a put down. That's on all these other things. However, we just got to continue to do what we love doing. So if we love doing something like getting out there and rock climbing, or getting out there and abseiling, or getting out there and doing other things, then we just do it. We use our active intentional decision making, our NOA, to actually intentionally decide to do something that we like. So what is your goal? Is your goal to find a partner at any expense? Or would you like to, sift through, because it's sometimes it's a bit of a shift, a sifting process for yourself and for them, to be able to be chosen for who you are, not, to cover up or not to camouflage anything if you don't feel like you want to camouflage or anything like that. But, to be able to be authentically content and choose to be content in the circumstances that you face. Acknowledge your feelings, and, we've all got decisions. Do we want to have second best, or do we want the person who will accept us for who we are, regardless of our faults? Because we all have faults, regardless of whether or not they're actually visible or they're invisible. I'm just going to go up to the comments and see whether or not there's any comments. Nope, there's no comments yet. There's another question or thing. I'm a parent. What do I do when dealing with medical professionals and the frustrations around not getting any answers? Well, these are curly questions. Oh, very, very curly. I would think that medical professionals, they're highly educated, they're highly, experienced, but research shows that their unknown bias is coming through. Their unknown negative bias comes through, as with anything. So if they don't know how to answer you, perhaps you might need to go, acknowledge their feelings. I feel that you may not know any answers, and that might not feel nice. And they might go, oh, yeah, but we're waiting for the answers, or we're waiting for this. And so therefore they might give you some more information. Or you might say something like, I'm feeling frustrated. Is there any answers that you can give me? Or is there any support systems that are available to me? Or do you know anywhere? And if it's okay if the answer is no, because sometimes medical people, I think anyone really, not just the medical professionals, but people, if they don't have any answers, they don't want to talk. And so they'll avoid those conversations. But if you give them an out of the fact that, you'd like some, but if they don't have any answers, then that too is an answer. That too is a valid answer, regardless of whether or not that's the answer that you want or not. That allows them and opens up communication with them, perhaps. And the last question that we've got. Oh, there's a comment. Sorry. Someone's listening, but they're packing to go away because it's Good Friday today. Where's the questions gone? The questions is frustrations around the medical professionals not taking accountability for mistakes or not even providing a diagnosis. Yes, this is very, very common. Not taking accountability for their mistakes, but not even providing a diagnosis. On our YouTube channel, I've got, I interviewed Krista, who is rocking through a third nerve palsy diagnosis. And even she said that even though she lived with third nerve palsy, she was through this, through the interview process, she realized that they hadn't actually given her a diagnosis. Like the diagnosis was third nerve palsy, but they hadn't actually said to her, definitely you have third nerve palsy. And that was like 7 years ago for her. So it happens. It happens a lot. So thank you very much for your time today. These have been very, very, very curly questions, and hopefully I've given some ideas on maybe how to handle them better, or being proactive with medical professionals and acknowledging that they may not know everything, that it's okay, and it's okay not to have all the answers, or it's okay not to have an answer. It's just that I need to know whether or not you have an answer or not, and then deal with the frustrations or deal with whatever else happens afterwards. And as usual, please remember that it's okay not to be okay. And then remember to practice some self-care and being kind to yourself this week. So remember our box breathing that we've been doing for the last month. We breathe through our nose for 4 counts, wait for 4 counts, breathe out through our nose for 4 counts, and wait for 4 counts. Shall we do that just once? We should breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out through our nose, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. That just calms our systems down and allows our brain to just rewire and regroup and just calm down. And we can do that 2 or 3 times, and then we can go back into our rhythmical breathing and our normal breathing. So thank you. And I look forward to next week, which I think is we're investigating. Next month, we're talking about navigating through relationships, I think. I'm quite sure that's what it is. Navigating. Our April topic is navigating through relationships, navigating relationships. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and chatting with you. And if you've got any other questions, please put them down. I read them and collate them for April's next Q&A questions. Thank you very much for your time. And see you next time. See you next week. Same time, same channel.
By golly gosh, it's the end of Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zaley's Desk. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember that all information given during this episode is for general application only. If you have any specific medical issues, as always, consult with your medical practitioner. Like, subscribe and share on whatever platform you find us on. For more information, please connect with Karibu Anawim on our website at karibuanawim.com or email us at inquiries@karibuanawim.com.